Okay, I've been involved in 3D art for less than 9 months now, but the one thing that is so constant is the bickering amongst several people about whose app is best, Poser or DAZ Studio. They can be very passionate about their views, and most are very combatant with others in the online arena. I always believe that when I see app war discussions, I have an unsettling feeling. Friends like this always deviate into personal attacks and whatnot. I've seen a lot of the usual arguments made by those in the Poser defense camp, but I want to talk about that if I may. First, they said that DAZ Studio 4 is nothing more but just a total clusterfuck of functions hidden in menus that they just can't find. Well, let me tell you something. It took me less than a few days for me to find anything in DS4, even in the Hollywood Boulevard layout. When I went to the Silk layout, I still found everything I need. The point I'm trying to get across is this. Each program has its own way of finding content, but both apps, and I mean both apps, use the same folder hierarchy, and that is the folder hierarchy that Poser utilizes. Second, there is more stuff for Genesis than there is for the Generation 4 models, and that Smith, Michael, and Daz are in eternal gridlock over Genesis. Although I see more Genesis stuff, there is an even greater amount of close and procs for Gen 4 models because, breaking news, vendors still make Gen 4 props. Recently, there was a call at the DAZ forums to make a Victoria 5 and as well as a Michael 5 for Poser. I don't think that'll happen because one of the top guys at the Poser team, Steve Cooper, said in a lengthy post over at One Time DNA that Poser cannot fully support what they think is proprietary software. In other words, Mr. Cooper is saying that DAZ needs to prove that Genesis is not exclusive to DS users, and so far I have not seen that. There's still the calls for V5 and M5 for Poser, but I think that is impossible in the current state of affairs we have at the present time. I may be wrong on this, but until then my opinion is that the calls will fall on deaf ears. As with the cases of gridlock, I think that will end in the near future. Sometimes even the most bitter enemies can find common ground in something. Third, there are many people dropping from the DAZ Platinum Club because they see nothing for V4 or any Generation 4 figure for that matter, and that Genesis has corrupted the Platinum Club's new releases page. Yes, this is a trend I'm seeing as well, but there is a good deal of Poser Crocs and V4 and M4 clothes being released to the Platinum Club because I think it's just flat out bad business for DAZ to abandon the Gen 4 figures entirely. But hold on a second, there is a growing divide amongst the rank and file at the DAZ forums as well. A lot of folks paid a king's ransom in middle class terms to get the Pro version of DAZ Studio 4. Since February of this year, DS4 Pro has been for free. Pretty soon, the people who paid a lot, and let me tell you something, I mean paid a lot. I'm talking 400, 500 bucks maybe for DS4 Pro, otherwise known as the early adopters. They began to complain about this bold move. It got a lot of people into DS4 Pro, but at a price, which is the discontent of the early adopters that, along with the heated app war threads at the DAZ forums, Renderosity, and everywhere else, has the DAZ faithful feeling disgusted. App war threads do nothing but alienate the newbies and tick off those who use Poser and or DAZ Studio 4